We all know that Tracy is the kind of woman who doesn't miss a thing. She is sharp, she is ruthless, and she is certainly not someone you want to cross. When she caught those two together, I think we all felt that collective gasp from the audience. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated tension. But if you ask me, the real story isn't the affair itself. It is the sheer desperation that has followed. I see Chase standing there, his badge seemingly heavy on his chest, while Willow is spiraling into a place that I genuinely do not recognize. They think they are protecting their secrets, but they have no idea that they are signing their own death warrants in this town. It is a classic case of a secret turning into a prison, and we are witnessing them build the bars around themselves brick by brick. I have been obsessing over the way they looked at each other in those fleeting moments before the incident. There was a frantic energy, an unspoken agreement that things could never go back to the way they were before. When Tracy stood her ground, declaring she would expose everything to the family, I felt like the floor was falling out from under us. If you ask me, the look in their eyes wasn't just fear. It was the terrifying realization that they were willing to do anything to keep their status quo. Guys, do you realize how far they have fallen? This is not just a soap opera mistake. This is a calculated plot to silence the most powerful woman in the Quartermaine dynasty. It makes me wonder if they ever had a conscience to begin with, or if the pressure of their own lies just finally snapped the last thread of sanity they were clinging to. Think about the sheer audacity of this situation. Chase, the man who is supposed to represent justice and the law in Port Charles, is now actively participating in a kidnapping. I mean, can you even fathom the irony? He swore an oath to protect the innocent, yet here he is helping to hold a member of the most prominent family in town against her will. My thoughts are racing as I try to piece together how they managed to pull this off without raising immediate alarms. Did they have a plan? Was this a split-second decision that spiraled into a nightmare? If you ask me, there is something deeply sinister about how quickly they pivoted from panic to containment. It suggests that deep down, they were always capable of this level of betrayal. We need to talk about the silence in the Quartermaine household. It is deafening. Imagine the scene. The mansion is quiet. The usual bickering and power moves have ceased, and in their place is a creeping sense of dread. Brooklyn is pacing her intuition, screaming that something is wrong, but she cannot quite put her finger on it yet. She is searching for answers, and if you ask me, she is going to be the one to tear the lid off this entire mess. The way she looks for clues, the way she refuses to accept that Tracy would just vanish into thin air, it is the kind of tension that keeps us glued to our screens. It is a waiting game, and every second that passes, I feel the walls closing in on Chase and Willow. Have you considered the mental toll this is taking on them? Willow is usually the moral compass, the one who tries to do the right thing, even when it is hard. But this is a complete departure from who she is. I feel like we are watching a psychological breakdown in real time. She is convincing herself that this is for the best, that the ends justify the means, but that is the classic path to ruin. If you ask me, she is the one driving this madness, and Chase is simply a passenger on a train wreck that he is too weak to stop. He is terrified of losing his career, his reputation, and his life, and that terror is making him dangerous. We are seeing a side of them that should have stayed buried deep in the shadows. I keep coming back to the location. A secret place, away from prying eyes, where the woman who knows everything is being held. It feels like a horror movie, yet this is the reality of life in Port Charles. We have seen kidnappings before, but this one hits differently because of the betrayal involved. It is not an enemy from the outside. It is the people they lived with, the people they broke bread with. The intimacy of this betrayal is what makes it so sharp. If you ask me, when the truth finally comes out, the explosion will be felt by every single resident in town. The betrayal isn't just about the affair anymore. It is about the lengths they went to in order to keep it hidden, and that is something that can never be forgiven. Guys, can you imagine the look on Michael's face when he finds out? He has his own agenda, he has his own secrets, and he has been playing his own games to trap them, but even he could not have anticipated this level of depravity. He thinks he is the master manipulator, but he is walking into a trap of their making. I think he is going to be blindsided, and that is going to be the most satisfying yet heartbreaking moment in this entire story. The ripple effects of this will be massive. We are talking about the potential destruction of the Corinthos and Quartermain dynamics, all because two people were too afraid to face the consequences of their own choices. There is this haunting question that keeps me up at night. Where is Tracy now? And how is she holding up? She is a fighter, a survivor, and she is not going to just roll over and play the victim. I can see her right now, in my mind, plotting her escape, analyzing their every move, and waiting for that one moment of weakness. She is the wild card. If you ask me, the real drama isn't the kidnapping itself, but the moment Tracy turns the tables on them. She will use their own guilt, their own fear, and their own incompetence against them. She is going to make them pay, and it is going to be the most delicious form of justice we have seen in years. I feel a sense of impending doom for the pair. They are living on borrowed time, and they know it. Every time the phone rings, every time a siren wails in the distance, you can see the panic wash over them. It is a slow, agonizing descent into hell. They are losing their grip on reality, and it is only a matter of time before the facade cracks completely. If you ask me, it is already happening. The way they look at each other is changing. It is no longer a look of passion or partnership. It is a look of shared trauma and mutual destruction. They are tethered together by a crime that will eventually pull them both under. Consider the pressure on the police. Chase is literally inside the system, which makes it even harder for anyone to suspect him. But the truth has a way of rising to the surface, and it never stays down for long. We know that in Port Charles, secrets are just pending announcements. The fact that the police are already starting to circle, asking questions, and poking holes in their stories makes my pulse race. Every lie they tell, every excuse they conjure up is just another piece of evidence that will eventually be used against them. It is a beautiful, tangled web of lies, and they are the flies caught in the center, waiting for the spider to arrive. I have to wonder if there is any redemption for them. Can you come back from kidnapping a family member? Can you rebuild your life after you have tried to silence the truth with force? I don't think so. I think they have crossed a line from which there is no return. If you ask me, they have essentially erased their own futures in this town. It is a tragic, albeit deserved, end to their stories. We have watched them grow, we have watched them love, and now we are watching them fall apart in the most spectacular fashion. It is the kind of storytelling that makes us addicted to the screen, even when it is hard to watch. What if someone else stumbles upon their secret? What if they aren't as careful as they think they are? The thought sends shivers down my spine. The stakes are so incredibly high right now. If the public finds out, or if the family finds out, the fallout will be nuclear. We are talking about potential prison time, the total loss of respect, and the burning of every bridge they have spent years building. I honestly think they are too blinded by their own desperation to see the cliff they are sprinting toward. It is classic high-stakes drama, and I am here for every single second of it. As we look toward the next few days, I can feel the tension reaching a fever pitch. Everything is pointing toward a massive confrontation that will change the landscape of our favorite stories forever. I have a feeling that we are just days away from a monumental reveal that will leave us all speechless. If you ask me, we need to prepare ourselves for the ultimate betrayal, because when the truth comes out, it is going to be loud, it is going to be messy, and it is going to be absolutely unforgettable. I want to know what you guys think about all of this madness. Do you think Tracy will be the one to save herself, or will someone have to intervene before it is too late? Are you Team Truth, or are you terrified of what happens when the dust finally settles on this nightmare? Drop your theories in the comments and let us start a real conversation about this, because I am absolutely dying to hear your take on this chaotic, juicy, and completely insane development.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.